The morning Abeni discovered betrayal. The village was still yawning. Mist lay low over the red earth, and the air smelled of wet wood and old secrets. In the courtyard behind her house, Abeni stood barefoot, muscles steady, arms strong, pounding fufu in a wooden mortar worn smooth by generations of women who had loved too hard and stayed too long. Thud, thud, thud. Each strike was prayer. Each turn of the pestle, devotion. She had married Connell with her whole chest, without doubt, without fear. She had learned the exact way he liked his soup thick, the way his silence meant hunger and not anger, the way his pride needed stroking more than his ego admitted. She had given him sons in her dreams and patience in real life. People said Abeni was lucky. A hardworking husband, a respected home, a woman fulfilled. That was the lie that lived comfortably until it didn't. The pestle paused midair when laughter reached her ears. Not the open laughter of the courtyard, not the harmless chatter of neighbors. This was softer, intimate, familiar in a way that made her chest tighten before her mind could catch up. Abeni listened. A woman's voice, low, playful, Kunal's voice unguarded. Her fingers tightened around the wood. The sound led her past the cooking huts, past the mango tree where she once sat as a bride, past the walls that had never failed to protect her until now. She pushed the door open, and there it was. Kunle, and another woman. The woman was beautiful in a deliberate way, beads resting proudly on her chest, lips curved in triumph more than surprise. This was not a stolen moment. This was practiced. Time slowed. Betrayal always does. That stretches itself. Makes sure you feel every second. Connell stood up too quickly, guilt clumsy on his face. Abeni the woman cut him off with a smile sharp enough to draw blood. "So, this is the wife," she said calmly. "I wondered when you would come." Abeni said nothing. Her silence unsettled them more than screams ever could. The woman stepped forward, chin high. "My name is Zainab. I am not a mistake." The words landed like stones. "You see," Zainab continued, "some men don't want one woman. They want a crown with many jewels. Your husband chose me. Long ago." Abeni looked at Kunal, then not with anger, but with devastating clarity. "How long?" she asked. Kunal couldn't answer. That was the answer. The village gathered quickly. News always outruns dignity. Eyes followed Abeni as she stood before them, straight-backed, composed, heartbreak burning quietly beneath her skin. "Kunal tried to speak," elders murmured. Zainab stood beside him, already imagining her place. Abeni reached up slowly and untied the cloth from her head. Gasps rippled through the crowd. In their culture, that cloth was not just fabric. It was marriage, it was patience. It was endurance. She laid it on the ground. "I did not lose my husband today," Abeni said, voice steady. "I lost the lie. I was living in..." She turned to Kunal for the last time. "You planned another wife behind my back. You fed her with my labor. You built her comfort on my sacrifice." Her eyes hardened. "That is not love. That is conspiracy." Then she walked away. Not running, not crying, walking. The nights that followed were cruel. Loneliness has a way of replaying memories like punishment. There were moments Abeni pressed her face into a mat and shook silently, mourning not just Kunal but the woman she used to be. But grief, when it finds a strong woman, often makes a mistake. It teaches her. Abeni returned to cooking not for a man, not for a home that betrayed her, but for herself. Her hands remembered flavors her heart had buried. Neighbors began to notice. Then, strangers. Then travelers. What started as a small pot by the roadside became a stall. The stall became a gathering place. The gathering place became a restaurant. She named it Tian, meaning story, because every meal carried one. Abeni wore confidence like silk now. Her laughter returned, fuller, her back straighter, her eyes no longer searching. And Kunal, life was less kind to men who gambled their blessings. The second wife learned quickly that love built on secrecy rots in daylight. Respect faded. Money tightened. Pride crumbled. One evening, Kunal stood outside Abeni's restaurant, watching people line up for her food, her presence, her power. He fell to his knees. "Abeni," he whispered when she came out. "Forgive me. I was foolish. I lost everything. Benny looked at him the way one looks at a closed chapter, not with hatred, but with finality. No, she said softly. You lost me when you thought I was replaceable. She turned back to her restaurant. The doors closed behind her. And inside, life went on warm, rich, abundant, because some women are not broken by betrayal. They are introduced to themselves